I'm very pleased to be introducing this video of Willie Carson's greatest races, because most of them were trained by me when he was riding as first jockey to my stable. We had a great time, winning the Derby 3 times. Besides 10 other English classics, we won 21 Group 1 races in this country.
Baxter.
High top,
they're not waiting
my
for
first
Freeman.
ever
Freeman's
classic
taking
winning.
no part, so the field is reduced to 12.
What a terrible day it was. If you actually watch the horse's feet, there's water comes squelching out of it. And it was discussed before this race, because High Top was a front runner. And I had looked in the record books, and there's nothing. I don't think there ever was a horse who jumped off and made all the running and win the Guineas. But I think there might have been one before it. And that's what we had to do, and that's what we attempted to do, and we did it. And it's very interesting to see the Newmarket racecourse just having just poles and the old starting gates and the old setting course rails, but there the running rail comes in. And it was a brave thing to do, was to jump out and go all the way, especially in the conditions, because the wind was howling. It was straight in the faces.
Together with Pardner, Roberto is behind the leaders over on the far side with 2.5 furlongs to go. High Top is the clear leader now from Steel Pulse, Do Battle, Sun Prince and Philip of Spain, who's running on well there, and those 5 or 6 have got it between them as they run down into the dip. High Top is clear with 1.5 furlongs to go. High Top is clear of Roberto, who's now running on very strong. Roberto is the danger. It's High Top challenged by Roberto. Then comes Sun Prince, Steel Pulse, Philip of Spain and Big Bean. Racing up now with just 100 yards to go. It's High Top hanging on desperately from Roberto, and he's just going to make it. At the post, High Top the winner. Roberto second, Sun Prince third, then Steel Pulse, Big Bean.
He was sort of animal that took to racing well. He just did what he was asked to do. He didn't argue. He just got on with his job, and that was galloping.
And High Top, maybe the first real star you rode. Of course, she's become a household name since then. And a lot of people in recent seasons, they talked about Hieroglyphic, who won the Manchester November Handicap in 1991, sort of typifying you as a jockey. That looked hard work.
He was a horse running over 1.5 miles, and the horse stayed 2 miles. So, and I actually went a little bit further round, took the long route, but the long route meant that he was on faster ground than the others. But they caught me up before we turned into the straight, and I was pushing away, but I knew that my horse would stay, so I just kept pushing, and of course he overtook him in the last furlong.
And Hieroglyphic racing very wide indeed with El Sarab, and then just in behind these comes Golden Talk and then Comstock, and the back marker is now First Victory detached by a little bit. But also up with a pace.
20 years on, here we are,
they begin the run
a bit more sophisticated jockey.
Just over 3/4 of a mile to go.
I have done this before, is to go around the outside at Doncaster, because Doncaster, they can't afford watering for the system to get right across the track. So during the summer, the track is only half watered. So I was drawn quite high on Hieroglyphic, so I decided the night before that I was going to go around the outside. I asked John Gosden if I could do it, and he said, "You're the jockey, it's up to you. It's your problem."
2 furlong marker and Limpack, 4 furlong marker. Limpack West close enough if good enough, and they've passed the 4. And El Sarab making the best of his way home in the lead. Western Dynasty on the left, the favourite Hieroglyphic. Willie Carson bumping along off the pace
at the
is
furlong
Limpack
pole
West
when the others
well.
tired,
Then lifted
and
low,
everybody said what a great racer rode.
Right,
well, it was just a matter of just keep pumping, really.
Western Dynasty, El Tharab. Here comes Canny Chronicle with a big run down the stand side, and they've got under 2 to go now. And it's Limpac West and Canny Chronicle going on. Canny Chronicle on the left, Limpac West on the right. Then Hieroglyphic off the pace, finishing well. Is Discord with a run, then Lift and Load. A Valiant Warrior with a run too, and they're inside the final furlong now. And it's Canny Chronicle and Hieroglyphic the favourite. And Hieroglyphic nosing on as they race up towards the line. And Hieroglyphic takes it. Hieroglyphic is the winner from Limpac West and Canny Chronicle. And then in 4th place came...
I got the job with the Major in 1977, and that was when the golden years started.
And you walked straight in, well, not walked straight in, but there was a good filly in the yard there for you.
Dunfermline. Yeah, very good. Fantastic filly.
And what do you remember especially of that year?
Well, I remember riding her work, and she never really excited me at all. She went to Newmarket, won the Pretty Polly. She won 5 or 6 lengths from Olwyn of Ron Bosses, who went on and won the Irish Oaks, and well, went into the Oaks with a good chance.
They're understarted orders, and they're off, and they come out to a pretty level break as they start to settle down in the early stages. Owen just about the first gone from Vaguely Deb. Right up on the far side, Fabulous Jane.
Actually 2 days before the big celebration of Jubilee year, being owned by Her Majesty the Queen. It was very, very important, and I remember a lot of pressure on me, and really willing this filly to win this race, because it would have been the most marvellous thing for her to win the Oaks actually during the Jubilee year. And she was a filly who was bred by Her Majesty, and she was always going to be able to get the trip really well. And I remember I got myself in a bit of a mess early on because she got a little bit further back than I really wanted to.
Just in behind the one, chopped off then with Proud of Bend, who's now gone right back to be last, and they have just over a mile still to go, and it's Vaguely Deb still the lead from Yelapa now in 2nd place, and your leader close up in 3rd. Then comes on the far side Owen, they're immediately pressed by Western Star, then comes Dunfermline. And towards the rear
I think they went pretty fast, and I got, of course, she had no speed at all when I was hunting her along, and just never really, it wasn't one of those smooth races. I was always chopping and changing for positions, because she didn't have a lot of speed to take me there, and they went pretty fast, which helped me in the long run. And when we came to the top of the hill, I started thinking, well, everything around me is not going very well, and you know, she started to improve, and when we came into Tattenham, I thought I've got a great chance.
Under 5 furlongs still to go, and it's Vaguely Deb who's made it all up to this point from Pamela Jane in 2nd place, Freeze the Secret, the leader stablemate, in 3rd place. Then comes Miss McCarty and Edward High making move towards the outer. Owen on the inside, they're immediately pressed by Dunfermline, Western Star, but they have 3 furlongs still to go, and it's Vaguely Deb still the leader from Pamela Jane, Freeze the Secret. Dunfermline coming up the centre to go into 4th place, but they have 2.5 furlongs still to go, and it's Vaguely Deb still the leader, and being tracked now by her stable companion towards the centre. Freeze the Secret on the left is Dunfermline. Pamela Jane now dropping out of it, and so with 1.5 furlongs still to go, it's Vaguely Deb, Freeze the Secret, Dunfermline. That's the leading 3. They're just over 1 furlong to go, and it's Dunfermline on the near side having a right battle with Freeze the Secret, and they pass 1 furlong from Home Market. It's Franco Dettori on Freeze the Secret. On the near side, Willie Carson, Dunfermline, and it's going to be a royal victory, I think, on the near side, Dunfermline, and Dunfermline now going into the lead, and Dunfermline wins the Oak from Freeze the Secret. Vaguely Deb, triple first,
possibly the greatest day of my life at that time, because Her Majesty, I spoke to her on the telephone after this, because she wasn't at the track. The Queen Mother was there, and she had a great grin on her face. I remember sitting well, going upstairs to Her Majesty, the Queen Mother, and having a glass of champagne after the race. Great, most marvellous feeling. I still have that tingle.
Number 14 in the same ownership, same stable. Number 14.
3.5 furlongs to go. Alleged leads Dunfermline in 2nd. Making ground from the pack of Guadagnini and Classic Example. Lucky Sovereign is beaten, so is Olwyn. Ramezzo is last.
Ooh, a bruising race. Bruising race. The ledge went to the front, turning for home, and I slipstreamed in, came out and just got by him, and we went well clear of the rest of the field. That was the only time the ledge was ever beaten. The only time. He was a great horse.
Dunfermline ahead of Alleged on the inside rails, inside the final furlong, and it's Dunfermline and Willie Carson. Could this be another Royal Classic? Alleged is fighting back, but Dunfermline has the advantage. Racing to the line, Dunfermline is going to win it, and at the line, Dunfermline is the winner. Alleged is second, and these two are miles clear of 3 classic examples, 4 to beat, 5 sovereign silver, 6 all.
Troy's Derby. It was my first Derby. If you ever see the film of the race, you'll see how throughout the last 2 furlongs, Troy was kicking up the divots behind him, and he was the only one that was accelerating. That spring, Willie Carson broke his collarbone at Chester, and it was touch and go whether he would be fit in time to ride either Milford or Troy in the Derby. He came back and rode Troy in the Predominate Stakes at Goodwood, which was his second ride since his accident. And we all know, of course, he chose the right one.
Will be on the starters. In fact, they're on the way. And so they break out of the stalls. A great roar from the crowd as this 200th Derby gets underway, and Accomplice is one of the first to go on. But it's Leiphardt's Wish and Joe Mercer in the lead from Accomplice on the far side. Then comes Tap on Wood. On the inner then comes Hargreen, followed then by Two of Diamonds. Milford on the far side, and it's Leiphardt's Wish takes them along from Accomplice on the far side. Lasco Flotto goes.
I had the choice of Milford and Niniski or Troy in this race, and all horses who had won all their trial races really well. Milford had won two races by a long way, owned by Her Majesty. You know, it would have been a great thing for her to have had a Derby win. Anyway, I rejected him and gave the Longfellow a ride, Leicester. And of course he was virtually favourite up until the day of the race, when Troy actually took over favouritism. In the back of my mind, I didn't want to push my horse early, so I was going to let them go, and that's exactly what happened. They went very fast in the Derby, and I got myself a long, long way behind. And in fact, coming down the hill about the 6 to the 7, I said to myself, never mind, Will, you'll have to wait till next year's Derby before you win it, because I just thought I was in the wrong county. But when we turned around into the straight, I could feel my horse sort of just starting to urge forward a bit, and I kept to the inside, went past a few horses, and I thought, well, I better get out of this inside and give him a clear run.
Accomplice on the inside, Noelino on the outer, then comes Man of Vision, Dickens Hill, Elamana Moo, then on the inside comes Lake City and Hardgreen, and so the leaders now sweep into the straight on towards the 3 furlong from home marker, and it's Leiphardt's Wish from Milford. Then make your run towards
fantastic. He grabbed the ground as if he had 6-inch nails in his feet, and what a thrill. I went on and won 7 lengths, and I remember Gruff Scott said to me on TV, why didn't you look round? Well, when you win in the Classic in the Derby, you're not interested in who finishes second.
Troy now comes sweeping through to take up the running, and so they come now towards the final furlong. It's Troy and Willie Carson in the lead, going away from Dickens Hill, Northern Baby, Elamana Moo and Leiphardt's Wish. As they come out towards the line, it's Willie Carson who wins the Derby on Troy. Dickens Hill is second. Then comes Northern Baby, Elamana Moo, Leiphardt's Wish.
It was a very, very good year. A vintage crop, in fact, the 200 Derby. And he was a great horse on Derby Day. In fact, he was a horse unbeatable on Derby Day. He won the King George. He sort of confirmed that he was a good horse. The King George was running at just as, well, not a sedate pace, it was running at a very ordinary pace, and he confirmed that he was a champion.
He'll be the last installed for the 1979 King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes. Willie Carson removes his hood, they're under starters' orders, and they're away. And Gamer Sen is the first to show, but Road to Glory goes straight on now, the stable companion of Troy, and going on a good pace too. And
we had a pacemaker called Road to Glory,
then comes Troy,
and
then Swiss
he went off because there was very few runners in the race. And this was the race where Troy was going to confirm that he was a good horse, and he did so in what I would say in good fashion.
Then comes Troy back in third, then Swiss Maid, then Elamana Moo, then Gamer Sen, and finally Mlolshan. Still Road to Glory, making it, and Brown Proctor his first ride in the King George and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes, making it a good pace from Telescopico. Elamanamu now goes third, Troy is 4, Swiss Maid is 5, and Gamersen 6 and 7, and last is Molson, and they're just coming up to the mile pole. Road to Glory in the lead from Telescopico and Elamanamu. Then Troy, then Swiss Maid, then Gamersen, and then Molson. They're racing towards the 7 marker now, and it's still Road to Glory from Telescopico, then Elamanamu, then Troy, then Swiss Maid, then Gamersen, and then comes Molson. And they're passing the 7 mark now, making towards the 6, and it's still Road to Glory in the lead from Telescopico and Elamanamu. Then Troy, behind Troy comes Swiss Maid, then Gamersen on the inside, going smoothly, and last is Molson. They're coming past the 6 marker now, and it's still Road to Glory by 2 lengths from Telescopico, who has a 2.5 length advantage over Elamanamu, who's 2 lengths up on Troy, who's a length and a half up on Swiss Maid. Then comes Gamersen and Molson, and they're passing the 5 marker now, and it's still Road to Glory in the lead. From in second place Telescopico, then comes Elamanamu, then Troy, behind Troy is Swiss Maid, then Gamersen making a little ground on the inside, and then comes Molson, who's last, but they're grouping as they come to the home turn now, and well inside the final half mile. It's Road to Glory.
When we came to the 4, everybody went for it. The whole field bunched up, and I had to go to the outside, and in fact you can see a cloud of dirt come up. I don't actually know whether it was from myself or the horse behind me, because we were really motoring going around that turn, and we came up that straight really fast, and he confirmed that he was the best 3-year-old of the year by winning this race.
Then comes Gamersen for France as they race to the inside the final furlong. It's Troy who's taking it up now from Elamanamu, with Gamersen putting in a great challenge towards the stand side, but it's Troy and Willie Carson striding up to victory towards the line. They're being pressed by Gamersen, but they've got it sewn up, and Troy has won it from Gamersen second and Elamanamu third.
1980 was a particularly satisfying year for you. I mean, you were jockey's champion again. A fantastic year, any number of good horses. You had Elamanamu, who was one of the top 4-year-olds, if not the top 4-year-old, and you also, well, pretty much swept the board in the classic races. But winning the Derby and the Oaks, as you did for Dick Hearn, they involved 2 important decisions.
1980 was a great year for me, champion jockey, most of the classics, but we had big decisions to make in the Oaks and the Derby, because we had 3 runners in the Oaks and 2 runners in the Derby. In the Derby we had Henbit and Watermill, and choosing between the 2 was not very easy at all, because Major Hearn thought that Watermill was the better horse of the 2, and of course I rode him at York and finished 4th, and Henbit had run his 2 races and won them both. So winning these 2 races, I chose Henbit. He had a little bobble in Tattenham, and I think that is when he actually did his damage to his leg coming down into Tattenham, down the hill. But he was a very, very brave horse. That he just kept going, and it's very interesting. A furlong out, or inside the last furlong, he does change legs, and everybody can see that he's in pain. The horse was a very brave horse, and a good horse on the day. In fact, I didn't even know the horse was lame until I got back to the unsaddling enclosure.
Up on the outer, then just in behind the leading 3 is Rankin, unleashing a run towards the outside, then is Henbit, then comes Hello Gorgeous, and then just in behind the leaders towards the far side to his Prince Spruce, but it's Rankin who's now broken clear into the lead. So Rankin now takes it up from Henbit, and just in behind them Garrido, Pellerin finishing well on the far side, then comes Master Willie and also Hello Gorgeous, but Henbit and Willie Carson now takes it up, so they run now towards the final furlong, and it's Henbit in the lead, Master Willie coming late, Rankin on the far side, on the heels the leading 3, it's Garrido, but it's Henbit holding the advantage. They come up towards the line, it's Willie Carson on Henbit, he's going to win the Derby, and he's done that from Master Willie. Rankin, Pellerin, Garrido, Hello Gorgeous, then comes Julius Caesar, Nicolai, a disappointing run by Heath, finishes about in the middle of the pack.
And towards the 5 furlong mark, just passing it now, and it's still turn-up.
Elamanamu was bought by Samuel Wanstock after his 3-year-old career with Guy Howard, and we got him, and he was a lovely little horse. He was a darling, and he used to pull quite hard at home. We ran him at Newmarket first time on firm ground, and it took us 3 weeks, because after that race, because he got himself jarred up, he hated firm ground. He was a small animal who just tried and tried and tried. Genuine, really genuine.
Then comes Main Reef, but Willie Carson has struck the front on Elamanamoo. And it's Willie Carson and Elamanamoo from Lester Piggott on Mrs. Penny. Gregorian making progress over on the far rail. Then comes Dunet on the outside, and Lamamo making a great run now towards the stand side. But it's Elamanamoo from Mrs. Penny. There's a little between the two. Willie Carson and Lester Piggott as they race into the closing stages. It's Lester on the near side, Willie Carson on the far side, Elamanamoo and Mrs. Penny. Elamanamoo's just stretching clear now as they come to a line to win it. Elamanamoo's won it from Mrs. Penny, second, Gregorian third, Dunet 4, Lamamo 5, behind them Majestic Maharaja, Main Reef and Turnerboss and Pellerin.
Towards the end of the season, it was known fact against Chris. Chris, the top 4-year-old, unbeaten since he lost that tag in the Guineas as a 3-year-old, but a whole stack of races behind him. You on known fact who'd got the Guineas that year. What do you like to ride?
Known fact pulled very hard. I inherited him from Lester Piggott, whom Jeremy Tree trained. And when I first rode him, all I wanted to do was to settle him. Well, here we have the Queen Elizabeth II Stakes, where Chris and Known Fact came together, who were challenging for the crown to be the best miler in the country. One being a 4-year-old, one being a 3-year-old. And both had unbeaten records virtually, apart from early in the year, where Known Fact had finished second in the Guineas, but was promoted because Nuria was disqualified. And I just sat behind Chris, and because he was the only horse I had to beat in the race, so I just sat behind him until the furlong and a half.
And finally Hypodermic, they're racing towards the 5-furlong pole in the Queen Elizabeth II Stakes, and Starway with a 4-length advantage now over Chris in second. Then comes Hard Fought third and Known Fact 4, 5, 6 and 7 are Gift Wrap, God's Mark and Hypodermic. They're racing to the half-mile pole now, and as they do so, it's still Starway clear of Chris in second. Known Fact on the outside, on the inside of Hard Fought. Then getting a lot closer to them is God's Mark. Then comes Gift Wrap, and Hypodermic is tailed off as they race round the home turn now, with Starway leading Chris. Joe easing Chris towards the outside of Starway to begin his challenge early in the straight. Into the straight now, and Chris takes it up from Starway, being pressed now behind him by Known Fact, and then Hard Fought towards the outside, and now Chris going for home. Chris and Joe Mercer now from Willie Carson on Hard Fact. Then comes Hard Fought, and as they race down to the furlong pole, it's Chris on the far side from Known Fact, little between the two. Chris the senior on the far side, Known Fact on the near side. Joe Mercer and Willie Carson as they race up towards the line. Chris on the far side, Known Fact on the near side. Known Fact with a fractional advantage. Chris fighting back. Known Fact is just going to win it. At the line, it's a photo with Known Fact probably just the winner from Chris. Then came Gift Wrapped and Hard Fought, and behind them were God's Mark and Star.
1983, a very good year for me, because Jockeys Championship, OBE, lots of good horses to ride, and Sun Princess. Sun Princess, who was a very difficult horse at home because she pulled so much, and we spent possibly 18 months just relaxing her before the Oaks when she won. I remember one day she went to Bath Racecourse for a gallop, and as we went out onto the track with her lead horse, she just bolted, and she went right round the track and back, and that was her gallop. She was a very, very difficult filly. Joe Storer, who looked after her, done a marvellous job in relaxing her. And in the Oaks was the first time I really asked her to go.
Then just in behind these comes Royal Heroine. Then comes New Coins on the outside of Shoreline. Then Ski Sailing and Fields of Spring. Then Acclimatise and Sun Princess next to the rails, and only about 5 behind her is the favourite Alexandria. The back marker is Mytinia. They're quite closely grouped. They're at the top of the hill, 6.5 furlongs to go, and Sun Princess in the middle division makes ground on the outside, but it's Gaia in the lead from Royal Heroine and Cormorant Wood. Then on the outside of the leading group is New Coins. The one on the left of the picture is Soleil. The one that's tailed off is Hagen's Holly, but Gaia leads.
As a 3-year-old, she came out in the Charles Claw at Newbury, and we did exactly the same thing. All we wanted to do was get her to relax in the race, and she ran second, but I knew that the horse that finished in front of her that day, I would beat whenever I wanted to.
But it's Sun Princess from Gaia.
Sun Princess was a great filly. Slightly tricky to train. I was always slightly worried when she went down the post. I remember particularly in the Oaks, Willie only just had her. If he
Then
blown
Royal
his
Heroine,
nose,
2.5
he was
furlongs to
gone.
go, and Willie Carson on Sun Princess is
So
clear. Willie
in
Carson
the
on
Oaks,
Sun
we
Princess
set
clear,
out with the
brought
idea of getting
acclimatise
her
at
relaxed,
Cormorant Wood. Then
and
Royal
she
Heroine, the favourite
was
Alexandria
very
beaten
relaxed
in the
early,
mid-division.
which was
Got a
great.
furlong and a half to go,
And
Sun
when I
Princess,
did go
some
for her,
4 to 5 to
when
6
we got
lengths
into
clear
the
now
straight, she
from
just went away
Acclimatise in
from the
second
rest
place.
of the field
Sun
and
Princess drawing
won
right away from Acclimatise,
unchallenged.
coming
She was
inside the final
a most
furlong now,
marvellous
and it's
filly.
Willie Carson going for home, 10 lengths clear on his third winner in the Oaks. Sun Princess well clear from Acclimatise, coming up toward the line. Sun Princess the winner. Acclimatise is second, New Coins is third. Then came Shoreline.
She won the Oaks tremendously easily, by a very big margin. And of course went on to win the St. Leger and run a great race in the Arc afterwards.
Salsabil was a very good filly. As a 2-year-old, I got beat a short head on her at Newbury, and everybody said that I rode a bad race and let the other filly win. I didn't actually, but she actually let me down because it was firm. She never liked firm ground, Salsabil. Then she went over to France and won the Group 1 2-year-old race there on Arc Day, which is great. As a 3-year-old, she won the Guineas, the Oaks, and then Irish Derby, which was a most amazing thing for the Sheikh to take her there, because a filly had not won this race for 90 years. And of course, it was such an easy race for her. She did it so superbly and so easily, and she broke the record for a filly not winning the Irish Derby for 90 years. Most marvellous filly.
And they're racing in the Budweiser Irish Derby, and in the early stages
the whole race, as I remember, went perfect. I cannot remember a race ever going as well as this one. When I wanted to go up the inside, horses just seemed to know that I was coming, and they moved away from the rail just to let me up. It was just one of those races that you dream about when you're dreaming about winning a classic.
Just over a length. Blue Stag shading second place. On the inside is Quest for Fame. Altarezza there on the outer. Cahill comes next, and behind Cahill is Belmez, then Salsabil. Behind Salsabil is Emperor Chang, and Super Flame brings up the rear as they head on now towards the mile marker. Deploy edging on almost 2 lengths in front of stable companion Quest for Fame, the favourite, running second. Then in third place behind these Blue Stag, who's certainly very much up at the pace this time. They're followed in fourth on the inside by Salsabil, who improves. Then Altarezza, Cahill and Belmez, and behind these Emperor Chang, and finally Super Flame. But Deploy leads Walter Swinburne's mount. From in second place on the outside, Quest for Fame. Then Salsabil in the blue and white colours. Blue Stag has dropped back to fourth, and they're followed by Cahill as they begin the uphill run now at the far point of the course. And it's Deploy who leads. As they race along, Deploy by just over a length. Quest for Fame is second. Salsabil is next on the inside. On the outside,
this was at the time when I was riding Win Everything I rode one, because I had just been, the day before this, I rode 6 winners at Newcastle. The day before that, I had rode 4 winners. And the day before that, I rode 4 winners. So it was everything for me at this time was a golden period. It was possibly the best period of my riding career.
Blue Stag being pushed along. Salsabil still going quite well on the inside, but as they swing for home, the leader Deploy, who's made practically all the running, in the lead from Quest for Fame. Blue Stag, Salsabil on the inside, Belmez coming down the outer. They race towards the 2 furlong pole now, and Deploy is the leader. Quest for Fame, Parederi's gone for a stick. Salsabil moves up sweetly on the inside, and then comes Belmez. They race now towards the final furlong. Deploy tackled by the filly. Salsabil, Quest for Fame on the outside, then Belmez a furlong out, and it's Deploy and Salsabil. Salsabil quickens on the near side. Salsabil takes it up from Deploy and racing inside the final furlong. It's Salsabil from Deploy, and they're clear of Belmez as they go to the line. Salsabil has won it. Salsabil by 3 parts of a length. Deploy is second, and Belmez.
From one year to the next, he's come up with 2 Derby winners. There's She Camden leading in his winner there, and a very courageous man too to take on the colt.
So Irish Blood really triumphed here this afternoon, and history was made as Salsabil became the first English 1,000 guineas and Oaks winner to win the Irish Derby.
This is by Scenic, out of Habibti, a habitat mare, very tall filly. And that's her mother there, Habibti. Habibti is a 3-year-old. We tried to make her stay a mile for the Guineas. And we ran her at Newbury first of all, on very soft ground, and she was beaten. Then she ran in the Guineas, and she finished 4th. And I thought she ran a cracking race. She didn't stay. She definitely didn't stay. She went to Ireland because the trainer wanted to give her another go, because she wasn't beaten that far at Newmarket. But everything went wrong. I think you could safely say I rode a bad race. I got her behind and got stopped and chopped. And again, the ground was a little bit on the soft side, and everybody could see that she definitely didn't stay. Then she went into the July Cup, and of course, she never got beat that year.
They're all installed for the William Hill July Cup. The hood comes off Fearless Lad, the jockeys look across, all in, and they're all out. A pretty level break. Sober, as expected, breaks very smartly, as too does Sylvan Barbarossa. Sober leading from Sylvan Barbarossa.
She was very lucky in a way, because she had Sober running in nearly all her races, and Sober was a front runner, and Sober would blaze away and Habibti just follow it and come and beat her. It was quite easy, because that Sober just made the races for her.
Centre of the track is Celestial Dancer, showing very good speed. But over on the far side, toward the right of the picture, Sober leads the overall group. Sober in the lead from on stage, and then just in behind these comes Habibti. Coming down the centre of the track is No Alcoholic. On the extreme left of the picture is Salieri making ground to go past Sylvan Barbarossa. Also Tatibar with them. They've got just 2 furlongs to go. And on the right of the picture, it's Sober in the lead from Habibti and on stage. In the centre of the track, No Alcoholic. The French raider Maximova coming with a run, as too is Salieri. Just over a furlong to go. And it's Salieri on the very wide outside, to Sober toward the right of the picture, coming inside the final furlong. And it's now Habibti that takes up the running. Habibti in the lead from Sober and on stage. Habibti going on by 2 lengths now from Sober on stage. Coming up toward the line. Habibti's going to win it. At the line, Habibti is the winner. Sober is second, on stage third.
Possibly the best horse I've ever ridden, Dayjur. Marvellous horse. Little ball of muscle. Really compact muscle. All muscle and all speed. He started off his career as a 2-year-old. He won at Newbury, and then he went back to Newbury again and got beat ahead on softish ground, I might say. Then as a 3-year-old, he had a little operation on his wind, a hob day it's called. He's a little snip here because things are not quite right. And it's very unusual for a top horse to have this operation, but it worked with him. And as a 3-year-old, we started off again at Newbury. I remember he got beat by a horse called Todd. I held him up, and Todd made the running, and I couldn't get by him. So we had a big conference with the Major and myself, and we came to the conclusion that this horse should make the running. And of course, he never got beat until the Breeders' Cup.
One thing you'll probably notice when you see him run is the number of times that he changed his legs during a race. I always thought that this was part of his secret. He kept on changing the order in which he used his muscles. To start with, it quite worried me that he was feeling something, but that was his way of doing it. He liked to keep on changing the lead.
In the York race, you can see him come out the stalls. After 2 strides, he grabs the ground and he's away. And every sort of 200 yards, he changes legs. He grabs the ground and works, and then changes legs and grabs the ground and works. And the great thing about watching this rerun of the York race is to look at the furlong pole. You can see him grab the ground and surge clear and beat the track record by nearly a second.
They break away, and the Nickerson horse, the American horse, has missed it. Dayjur gets there early. Lugana Beach is on the right with Stato Blessed, and Willie Carson is taking no prisoners. He's clear by 2 as they race for the first furlong. It's Dayjur in the lead. The American horse, Mr. Nickerson, with the white bridle. On the left is Pharaoh's.
He changed his legs 17 times and propelled himself forward, and he broke the track record, which I think will be a time that will last for a long time. And I think possibly he was the best thoroughbred I ever rode. it excites me just to watch it.
With Lugana Beach, the rest can be ruled out. They've only got a furlong and a half to go, and Willie Carson isn't hanging about. He's still in the lead on Dayjur, cleared by 2. Stato Blessed on the right, puts in a big finish. Pharaoh's Delight is third. Mr. Nicholson fourth at best. Carol's Treasure picks up, but it's Dayjur from Tramps the line, and Dayjur is cleared by 3 to 4 from Stato Blessed. And as they race up towards the line, Dayjur has it. Dayjur the winner. Stato Blessed second. Pharaoh's Delight third. 4 was Argento.
Morgan's Choice. He won 15 races, and I won 10 of them. He actually was bred by Herbert Blagrave, but when he died, he was sold, and Charlie Hill from Devon bought the horse. Now, he did a great job with this fella. He was one of really my old favourite handicappers. He found out that the horse was very, very stuffy, so he used to work on 4 furlongs flat out in the mornings of the race, and that seemed to be the way to get the horse fit and ready for his racing. And at Chester, when I rode him in the Chester Cup, I followed Lindsay Charnock in the race, and we went round the inside, and I think I went round 1 horse, and a couple of times I think I went through the eye of a needle. He's a most amazing old horse. He'd bend himself and go around the horses without, he wouldn't bump horses, he would just sort of go around them, and marvellous horse to ride. But you had to just grab a hold of him and say, come on, we're going to go now. And he would sort of say, all right, I'm going.
Then comes Azir, Tom Sharp, Ricky Tavy, Treasure Island still the back marker, Rushmore still the leader.
He was a funny horse because if you grabbed him too tight, he wouldn't go, so you had to sort of rattle the reins at him a little bit and then grab him, get him going before you grabbed him. And CJ always said, don't leave the rail. Well, that was not always easy to do at Chester. It was very exciting to ride round there, especially when you've got one boot touching the rail and another boot clinking irons with somebody else.
Down flight 4. 5 is Aldo King making ground on the outside with Azir close. Then comes Ricky Tavy also making a run. Just in behind them, Quick Shot. Morgan's Choice being chased along in the centre of the field. Rushmore still with the advantage from Meadowbrook.
And I remember just at the 2 furlong marker, old Morgan's, you must remember he's a very old campaigner, he was going past the horse and the horse moved, and Morgan seemed to have his front half going one way and his back end going the other. He didn't really want to touch the horse. He sort of was like a snake going past him.
Towards the home turn, Rushmore from Meadowbrook. Making ground is Quick Shot on the inside. Racing towards the home turn, Rushmore from Meadowbrook and Quick Shot. Trade Line making a good run towards the outside also, and Azir coming there quite strongly. And as they swing into the straight, it's Rushmore being pressed by Azir, Gay Kellaway. Trade Line producing a good run on the near side, and it's Azir from Trade Line racing into the closing stages. Azir being pressed by Trade Line. Trade Line taking a marginal advantage now as they race into the closing stages. Trade Line from Azir and Quick Shot as they race to the line. Trade Line from Morgan's Choice putting in a great run, and it's Trade Line and Morgan's Choice in a photo finish. Trade Line on the far side.
Petoski's King George was a very exciting race because he just got up in the last few strides, and I bought him for Lady Beaverbrook, also Bustino, Relkino and Minster Son, who were all classic horses.
1985, the King George, there was 5 individual classic winners. Also there was Rainbow Quest, and also Sharp being the particular classic winner in the race. It was a very, very tough race, lots of good horses, and Petoski just came and beat them.
All all 12 installed for the 1985 King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes, and they're running. And Infantry is in fact the first to show from August. Infantry, August and Tracy Aim on the outside. Then comes Law Society. Behind them, Sirius Symboli for Japan. On the outside is Princess Patty, with then Oh So Sharp. Behind Oh So Sharp is Petoski. Behind Petoski is Raft. Then comes Rainbow Quest, Strawberry Road, and last is Leicester on Crazy as they run down towards Swinley Bottom, with August now in the lead from Infantry in second. Then comes Princess Patty in third. In fourth is Tracy Aim. Then towards the outside, Oh So Sharp. Law Society is next on
My
the
horse,
inside.
he had just come to himself because he gave a great gallop at West Oseley. Anyway, as we all went down into Swinley Bottom, we were just starting to lose contact with the pacemaker because it was a furious pace, as the King George nearly always is.
On the inside of Rainbow Quest, who's making a little bit of ground. Behind them come Raft. Behind Raft is Petoski. Then comes Strawberry Road, Crazy, and finally Sirius Symboli. And August a long way clear of Infantry in second. Third is Princess Patty. Tracy Aim is fourth. Then comes Oh So Sharp. Behind Oh So Sharp is Rainbow Quest, then Law Society, then comes Raft, and then Petoski. They pass the 5 furlong poles. Still August in the lead. Infantry is second. Oh So Sharp has gone third. Rainbow Quest is 4, 5 Tracy Aim, 6 is Law Society, being pushed along by Pat Edery. Then comes Raft, then comes Petoski. They're racing towards the home.
As we went up to the 4 furlong marker, the whole complexion of the race changed. Everybody was starting to make a move, and I tried to get a toe of Rainbow Quest, which was ridden by Wally Swinburne. What happened when we entered the straight, the pacemaker didn't actually keep straight, and Steve was just pushed out a little bit. I wanted to go for the inside run and had to change and go around them. So when I got to the outside, my horse was a big, powerful horse, and he just kept galloping on to the finish.
And it's Oh So Sharp and Rainbow Quest. These two, Petoski's coming to deliver a challenge. Oh So Sharp over on the far side from Rainbow Quest, and Petoski coming there strongly. They've got 100 yards to run. Petoski on the near side has got to take it up. Petoski now with the advantage from Oh So Sharp on the far side. At the line, it's a photo finish between Petoski and Oh So Sharp. Rainbow Quest was third and 4.
Lady Beaverbrook, whom I've ridden lots and lots of good winners for, including Niniski, whom is the sire of Minster Son. Now, Minster Son was bred here at the Minster Stud. After Lady Beaverbrook bought this horse as a yearling at the Newmarket sales, she asked me whether she could name the horse after the stud, which I agreed to and was very happy to do so. But the story about the horse being sold was that the horse was at the sales and Major Hearn wanted them, and he had 2 people interested in him, Lady Beaverbrook and Lord Chelsea. Now, it was agreed that Lord Chelsea would have first go at this horse. So at the ring, it went down to 16,000 and it was starting to stop. Everything went quiet, and then Lady Beaverbrook started. And, and she ran Lord Chelsea up to 36,000. And there was a bit of a row after it was about it, but I thought it was very funny because I had 2 of my owners running the horse up.
Then in third is Minster Son, 4 on the outside is Zaffaran, then Diminuendo on the inside of Sheriff Star. They raced down.
The only time that the horse was beaten as a 3-year-old was in the Derby. He seemed to injure himself coming down into Tattenham, and he did finish lame. In fact, this horse was lame every time he ran after his race, but he was a brave horse and a great trier. He hated to be beaten, and in the Ledger, fortunately for me, possibly Wally Swinburne possibly went a little bit too soon on the filly, and he just outstayed
Here comes Minster Son. Diminuendo still not in the picture as they turn for home. And Mazzacano leading. There she comes, the filly on the left of the pack as they come down towards a 4 furlong marker. Mazzacano in red. Zaffaran with a white cap. But Walter Swinburne's bringing Diminuendo on the outside of Sherry Star. Minster Son looks for room and finds it. Top Class is outclassed. They race down past the 3-pole. And here Minster Son goes on. But Diminuendo cruising up on the outside of Sherry Star. They've got 2.5 to go. And it's Diminuendo on the outside of Sherry Star. And now Diminuendo will have to race. Sherry Star, the grey, goes for everything. Next to the rails, Minster Son will not be denied. Diminuendo comes under pressure, and Minster Son starts to stay on. Just over a furlong to go, and it's Minster Son next to the rails. Diminuendo down the centre of the track. They're inside the final furlong. and Minster Son starts to lengthen. Diminuendo is step for stamina, but she tries to find more. Minster Son holds on, brings it up towards the line. Minster Son wins it, Diminuendo is second. They're a long way clear.
It gave me great pleasure to win the St Leger, because it was the first time it's ever been done that a Leger winner or a classic winner was ridden by the breeder. My eyes were popping out of my head when I won the Leger that day. Lady Beaverbrook, she was very, very high. I remember standing in front of the TV cameras with a glass of champagne in my hand and a glass of champagne in hers, and we were toasting the world. It was a marvellous, marvellous day.
The race that I keep thinking was really my favourite was when Willie won the 2000 on Nashwan. The colt had thrown out a splint in the January of that year, and it was touch and go whether he would be ready in time. And ready he was, and put up a great performance. I remember telling Willie, as he mounted him, let him use his stride, which he did.
Just about 3 weeks before the 2000 Guineas, he did this marvellous gallop along the trial ground at West Ilsley that excited the trainer, excited the jockey, excited the whole staff. Everybody was smiling that morning because he just galloped fantastic. And we knew then that he would win the 2000 Guineas.
They're all in for the 2000 Guineas. Nearest to is Shardy. One of two had to be blindfolded, but they're away. Away to a very level break indeed, and the pace already a furious one being set by Montresor. It's Montresor right over on the far side. On his own now, Montresor, with Greensmith going up now to second, then Nashwan settled in 3. In 4 is Monsergem, 5 Exborn, 6. After these comes Mark of Distinction in company with Shardy, and then Saratogan for Ireland. They've already covered the first.
There was a hell of a gamble on this horse because he never ran as a 3-year-old before the race, and he'd been doing scintillating work at home. His gallops were absolutely fantastic, and I've never ever been so confident of winning a horse race as I was of winning the 2000 Guineas at Newmarket this day. I was really confident of winning. The Major Hearn had said he had never seen a horse work as well as he had since Brigadier Gerard.
In behind them is Monsergem, then just in behind that in the pink cap is Dane Hill. The one that's well and truly tailed off is Travelling Tryst, but they pass the bushes, just over 2 to go, and it's Nashwan now that strikes the front. Nashwan in the lead, but coming there strongly is Exborn in a white cap. Dane Hill pressing for the lead, and Luna Mover, Mark of Distinction, opens up. Saratogan tries to quicken up Zayani with it all to do, but Nashwan pressed on the far side by Dane Hill. Mark of Distinction in the brown colours, Exborn with a white cap. They're inside the final furlong, and Nashwan just has it from Dane Hill. Exborn finishing strongly, but Nashwan quickens again inside the final furlong, and Nashwan wins from Exborn, Dane Hill. Mark of Distinction, Monsergem, Luna Mover, Pure Genius, Zayani, Sarah.
Major Dick Hearn awaits Nashwan as the cheers go up.
After he won the 2000, I was quite happy that he'd win the Derby. Although he was by Blushing Groom, I had trained his dam, and I knew how well she stayed. And I felt sure that she would have given him the necessary stamina, which she did, of course.
Northern Dancer responsible in part for 50% of the field, but that's it, they're lined up, and they break away, and a pretty level break it was too. And as they come through the first furlong, expect to see Polar Run in front with a red cap, and Polar Run is going on to make it a strong pace. with in second place.
Here we have the
Zone,
Nashwan in the Derby. He came straight here from the 2000 Guineas. The big danger was the top from the Harwood stable of Cocothes, whom Greville Starkey was riding. Now the race went quite well. Cocothes had a pacemaker for him, and so all I had to do really was to get up behind Cocothes and watch him, and exactly what I did.
Nashwan follows these. The back marker is Mill Pond, but it's Polar Run leading by 3 parts of a length to Torjun on the inside. QEII is well placed at the end of the first half mile, is third. Hieroglyphic pulls through into 4. Then in behind these as they pass the mile post comes Nashwan on the rank outside of Flockton Zone. Then Gran Alban, Nashwan mid-division, then Classic Fame and Prince of Dance. And so they headed at the furthest point from the stands, and Torjun with 7 furlongs to race comes up on the inside of Polar Run, and it's a lung-bursting pace, and it's Torjun now who takes it up from, in second place, Polar Run, who's pulled wide to allow QEII to go through, but Nashwan makes his run wider still.
As you can see, up at the 7th furlong, I moved out and get my horse on the outside because I could see Greville Starkey sitting still, motionless on his horse, and I wanted to keep close to him so that he didn't get away from me.
But it's QEII in front now as they begin the descent, and with just over 4 furlongs to go. Torjun next to the rails, QEII's cruising on the outside of him. Then behind these comes Hieroglyphic. Nashwan now pushed along in 4, but Greville Starkey goes for home with 3 furlongs to go in the ever-ready Derby. QEII's pressed on the outside by Hieroglyphic, but here comes Nashwan with a good-looking split. Torjun back in 4. They race down towards the 2 furlong marker, and the duel we expected is materialising. And it's Nashwan that goes on. It's Nashwan and Willie Carson, a length ahead of QEII's and Greville Starkey. A furlong and a half to go in the Derby, and Nashwan has it. QEII's in second place. Back in third is Terrimon, but inside the final furlong, Nashwan provides an electrifying burst of speed. It's a 1-horse race. Willie Carson in the drive position. Nashwan wins it easily. At the line, Nashwan is the winner. Terrimon came through to be second.
This was his second Group 1 winner. He actually won for the 2000, the Derby, the Eclipse, and the King George, which no other 3-year-old has ever done before.
Yes, and I think that's the best Derby winner that we've seen for some time. And full marks to Willie Carson. He's chosen the right one again. He's done it time and time again. He certainly is a good judge. And also full marks to Major Dick Hearn. They haven't had a winner since this horse won the Guineas, and he's brought him here. And as we said before, and he looked the part, and he's showed that he is the part.
A very big, powerful racehorse, very tall, and fantastic exaggerated stride. Gave you a fantastic feel to ride him, because when he galloped, he went over so much ground. It was a marvellous feeling. I always said it was just like making love when you were riding him. It was a marvellous, marvellous feeling.